Okay, you have a handout on parallel and perpendicular lines. Let's go fill out the definitions. The definition for a parallel line, lines that never intersect. Okay, they have the same slope. So let's underline that. Same slope. So example, if you have the equation y equals 2x plus 1, the same slope would be y equals 2x minus 7. That's not the only one. It just needs to have the same slope. When we write parallel from geometry and stuff from last year, you should indicate it as parallel. Perpendicular lines, lines that intersect at a 90-degree angle, they have the negative or opposite reciprocal slopes. So example, if your equation was y equals 2x plus 1, in order for them to be perpendicular, the slope has to be negative, and the reciprocal, so y equals negative 1/2 x plus 5. Basically, it's a fraction flipped, and the sign is switched. And perpendicular would be indicated like that. Okay, so now it's saying, what are the negative reciprocals? So the negative reciprocal of 3/4 would be negative 4/3. The negative reciprocal of 2 would be negative 1/2. The negative reciprocal of negative 7/8 would be positive 8/7. The negative reciprocal of 1 would be negative 1, and 0 would be undefined. Okay? All right, now we're going to go on to trying to find the slope. Okay, so it says determine if segments A and B and C and D are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So if you look at AB, we want to find the slope. So m of AB is 6 minus 3, remember your y2 minus y1, over x2 minus, which is a minus a negative 2, which would be plus. So 6 minus 3 is 3, and 2 plus 2 is 4. Let's find the measurement of the next one. So we're going to say CD equals 3 minus 0 over 3 plus 1. So 3 minus 0 is 3, and 3 plus 1 is 4. So we're finding the slope, and the slope is the same. So that means it's parallel. So we're going to say parallel. Let's try number 2. Measurement of AB. So we're going to say 4 minus 2 over 5 minus 0. So 4 minus 2 is 2, 5 minus 0 is 5. Let's find the measurement of, or the slope of CD. Equals 3 minus 8 over 3 minus 1. So 3 minus 8 is negative 5 over 2. So this one's 2/5. This is the opposite sign. Let's see if this is a reciprocal. Absolutely. So that means it's perpendicular. Okay, so now we're going to find the slope for number 3. Slope of AB is 6 minus 8 over 2 minus a negative 1, which is really 2 plus 1. So you get negative 2 over 3. And let's find the slope of CD. So we're going to say 3 minus 2 over 3 plus 1. So 3 minus 2 is 1, and 3 plus 1 is 4. Opposite signs, but nothing else is the same. So we're going to say neither for number 3. It's neither parallel nor perpendicular. Number 4. So the slope of AB is 4 minus 3 over negative 1 minus 2 gives us 1/3, and that's negative. And then m of CD is 6 minus 3 over negative 4 plus 5 gives us 3 over 1. That was a negative, right? Okay. So we have opposite signs, and we have the reciprocal, so that's parallel. Perpendicular, I'm sorry. Perpendicular. Parallels the same slopes. Okay, so we're on number 5. Number 5, the slope of AB is 7 plus 2 over 0 minus 0. And that's 9 over 0, which is, remember, it's undefined. And don't forget, the x's are the same, so it's an x equals, so a vertical line, undefined slope, x equals 0. And the slope of CD is -5 plus 5, and 6 minus 3, so that gives us 0 divided by 3. So again, you look here, this is a y equals, so it's a HOI, which is a 0 slope. And so basically they're going to be perpendicular. Number 6. So the slope of AB equals 6 minus 7 over -2 plus 4 equals -1/2. And the slope of CD equals 3 plus 2 and -8 minus 2. So that gives me 5 over -10. Let's simplify that, -1/2. They're the same slopes, so we're going to say this one is parallel. Okay, so let's do number 7 together. So the slope of AB is -4 minus 1 over 3 minus 3 gives us a -5 over 0. That's undefined because 0 is in the denominator. And then the slope of CD equals 5 minus 1 over -4 plus 4. So that's 4 over 0. That's undefined. So they have the same slope. So we're going to say parallel. Now remember, we can look at these and see, we wouldn't really have to do any work if we remember that HOI and box, and this one is a box. All right, number 8. The slope for AB is 2 minus 8 over 3 plus 3. So that gives us -6 over 6 equals -1. And the slope for CD equals -1 minus 1 over 5 minus 7. So we get -2 over -2, and that's 1. So they're, one's negative, one's positive. They're the opposite, so we're going to say that's a perpendicular. Okay, let's go to the next section. It says, determine if the given equations are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. Well, all of them should be in slope-intercept form. If they're not, you've got to change them to slope-intercept form so you can see your slope. But your slope is right here. So this is a 7, and this is a 7. So it's the same slope, so we're going to say it's parallel. Okay, this slope is 4/5, and this slope is, let's do this, m equals 7, m equals 7. So number 10, we're going to say m equals 4/5, and then m equals -5 over 4. So it's a reciprocal, and it's the opposite sign. We're going to say this is perpendicular. Number 11, m equals -1/3, and m equals 1/3. They're the opposite signs, but they're not the reciprocal of each other, so it's a neither. Okay, number 12, we're going to change that to slope-intercept form first, so we're going to subtract x, and then we get 6y equals -x plus 30, divided by 6, everything, and y equals -1/6 x plus 5. Don't have much space here. Okay, and then this one, we're going to say 3y, so everything gets divided by 3. And then you have y equals 6x minus 2. So we're going to look at the slope. That's a 6. That's a -1/6. It's the negative reciprocal, so perpendicular. Okay, so the second handout you're going to have is, we're going to fill this in, and I'm going to do the first two, no, I'm going to do one, and then I'm going to do one in perpendicular. So parallel equations have same slopes, and perpendicular equations have negative reciprocals. Okay, so we're going to do example 1, you're going to do example 2. Example 1, it says write the equation of a line that passes through the points -2, 7 and is parallel to the line y equals -4x plus 1. So we're going to use point slope again, so don't forget this. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay, now, I mean, we have to pick an equation, or we have to find that equation that this -2 and 7 falls on that line. So I'm going to say -2 and 7, I'm going to say x1, y1. And we need to have the slope. So they said the slope is, it's got to be parallel. It means it needs to have the same slope. So now let's substitute everything in. So we're going to say y minus 7 equals, we have to have -4. I'm going to say x plus 2 because it's minus a -2. Let's change it into slope-intercept form. So y minus 7 equals -4x minus 8. Add 7, and y equals -4x minus 1. The next thing you would do is take that ordered pair, substitute it in, or go to y equals, put this in the y equals, and make sure that ordered pair shows up. Let's go down to the next one on perpendicular. And then you're going to do the rest of the handout. Okay, so now again, we're going to do this y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. All right? Our ordered pair is 4, 3. The directions are saying perpendicular. So if I look at this one right here, my slope is 2. So perpendicular is the negative reciprocal. Okay? So now I'm going to substitute it in. I'm going to say y minus 3 equals -1/2 times x minus 4. Y minus 3 equals -1/2 x plus 2. Add 3, add 3. So you get y equals -1/2 x plus 5. Okay, the rest is yours. Finish it.